Hi there, so this is the Phantom FC40. I'm just going to show you how to set it up. We open the box, take out the top piece of packaging, take out the transmitter first of all. This is your control unit. First thing to do is put some batteries in there. Just AA pen cells will be fine. One thing to bear in mind with the transmitter is you should always turn this on first and off last, so the aircraft's never on without something to control it. We can do that, put that to one side. Secondly, we can put the battery on charge. While we're putting the undercarriage on, we may as well have this on charge. So take this white box, open that up. In there you'll see several cables. There's a USB extension lead for connecting the Phantom to your computer later, for firmware updates and configuration backup and that sort of thing. There's a power cable with a European plug, the balance charger itself, and this red and black to yellow cable which is going to connect between the charger and the battery. So we can put this white box to one side. In your box at the bottom sort of left you'll find this Euro adapter plug. You'll see it's open like that. If you uncoil your power cable with the European 2-pin plug on it, just undo that, extend that out, take that, put it inside your Euro adapter, make sure it's nice and firmly in, close the lid, take a Phillips screwdriver, tighten the screw up, make sure that's good and tight, and now you've got a UK plug with a fuse and everything else, which is great. Put that down there. Okay, you can take the power plug, the power cable rather, plug that into the charger. You can keep this plastic holder on it, just make sure the red goes to the red and the black goes to the black on the front of the charger. It can go the wrong way around, so be very careful to put that in correctly. Look at the switches, make sure they're both to the furthest left position. That'll be LiPo on the type of battery and 1 amp on the speed of charging. Now if you take the battery out of the top of your box, you see it's in bubble wrap. If you just slide that out, try not to hold the battery by its wire ever, always hold the battery itself. You just don't want to damage those wires, make your battery last a bit longer. So if I move this out of the way, if we take the charger, you see on the side of the charger there's 3, they're called balance connectors, and this is a balance plug. If we put that there, put it into the middle connector, it'll only go into that one, it's marked 3S because this is a 3S battery. Now if you take the yellow connector, connect that like that rather, it can only go one way. And now if you take your plug from the mains, here's what I made earlier, plug that into there, make sure everything's correct, the switches are both to the left, that's connected, turn it on at the mains. You'll see it does sort of a check where it flashes all the LEDs, and then it will 3 LEDs will be lit up, the up to 3S, which is because it's a 3S battery, and the red light means it's charging. So we can put that to one side, we'll come back to that later, leave that charging while we do the other bits and bobs. On the transmitter you've got this claw comes in the box, and that's designed for holding your smartphone on your transmitter. So we can install that next. This metal bar is your handle for holding the transmitter. We're going to mount it to there. If you look in this silver packet, you'll find in there, I've got mine here ready, the two screws and this other piece, which is the sort of marrying part of this connector, mounting bracket. So what's the best way to hold that? Probably like that. If you put that like that, position it in the position you want it to be, which is something like that. Get the other piece that you've got out of your silver bag, put that in position. Just do each screw a couple of turns to get them started. And then keep doing each one sort of 2 or 3 turns each so it goes on evenly. And there you have it. Maybe another couple of turns. There we go. So now you've got this claw and you can mount your smartphone in there and you'll be able to see the picture coming from the camera. So that's fully ready, it's got batteries in and everything, we put that to one side. Let's take the main aircraft out of the box. See these yellow cardboard warning labels on here, just to remind you to read the manual, which is very good advice. This video is no substitute for reading the full manual. Please do read that. It gives you lots of very useful stuff about what the LEDs mean, and it can go into a lot more detail than I can in a 10-minute video. So when I turn this over, they're going to fall off, don't worry too much about that. On the bottom you'll see there's 3 wires. We can just release them. They're 2 receiver antennas and the compass connection. So just take the fabric tape off, keep that to one side because we're going to use that again shortly. Now take your undercarriage out of the box. It's these sort of square brackets. You'll see one of these has a metal component, a silver component. We need that one to go to the back left of the aircraft. The front is where the battery compartment is, the back left, so that this grey wire with white Molex connector can attach to it. So poke it through the little hole. Do the same with the receiver at the front. And there you go. Now get your screw. Screws are in this little packet here, this little sachet. And I've got some here ready to go. If you just get one screw in first of all, just a couple of turns to hold it, and then you can get the others in nice and easy. You need 4 for this job. There we go. So once they're all in sort of 3/4, you can tighten them all up. Okay, now you can plug in the compass. Plug this little white connector into the female on the leg, on the compass itself. Push the excess back into the body of the Phantom and just tuck the wire into the leg. And then use your tape that you saved from earlier, your little fabric tape. Just put that around there as a sort of, just to stop it flailing around. On the other side, if you just pull the receiver antenna out just very slightly, and it will go neatly in the leg. You put another bit of your fabric tape around there, like that. Okay, for the other side, just got the one receiver antenna to go through the hole there. Grab one of your screws. Let me just get one in again, you'll be home and dry. There we go. 3 more screws to put this undercarriage on. tighten them all up. And then this other receiver antenna, just put in the leg like that, around with the last bit of tape. Okay, so I think we're ready to put the camera on now. So in your box you'll find this sort of knuckle joint bracket. On the bottom of the phantom at the front is where the battery compartment is, you've got 2 threaded holes. If you put that into position, 2 more screws, do about half each and then tighten them up afterwards. Go nice and tight. So that's ready to accept the camera. Let's get the camera out. This is the camera in your separate little box. You'll see the camera itself, 6 anti-damping, anti-vibration dampening mounts, and the bracket itself. We only need 3 at a time, but there's 3 spares. So we'll take this bracket out, take the camera out, and I'll just take 3 of these. So you want to have, we're going to want to mount it this way so that the sort of longer piece of the bracket is facing the back of the aircraft, just so that the camera's a bit further forward. We want it as far forward as possible really, so that the propellers aren't in the shot. So with that in mind, we want that facing away from us and the camera facing forwards. The little red switch wants to be at the bottom of the camera so that we can access that. Just put that to one side. And then if we take the 3 little rubber dampers, these are a little bit fiddly. If you start sort of at 90 degrees and just poke them through, they're very flexible, poke them through. Poke that one through. Poke that one through. And now get them into the camera. Again, if you can get it sort of 90 degrees, it seems to be the easiest. That's 1. 2. 3. Okay, so there we go, that's the camera mounted. And if we get the aircraft back, all we're going to do, undo this bolt, put the camera into position, just do from that side, slot that through, and just tighten it. Go. You can position it how you want. Probably best to have it near enough straightforward, but perhaps a little down. And you can adjust that to your heart's content. The start-stop button's on the bottom and the power button's on the side. So, just really putting the propellers on and putting the battery in now. We can take these yellow cardboard warning labels off now. Propellers are in your box. You get a full set plus a full spare set. I've got some here that are pre-opened. So we can just put them on. You'll see the prop shafts are slightly different. You've got 2 here diagonally which are have black dimples. You're going to put the motors with the black heads, sorry, the props with the black heads on there. And the silver heads go on the silver motors. And to tighten, they're sort of self-tightening, and you can't get the wrong one on the wrong way, it just won't go on. But if you put the silver one on there, spin that clockwise, you see that's now tight, and the black ones you go anti-clockwise, and then that's tight. clockwise and clockwise. Now as you fly, they're going to get tighter. That's the point of them, to stop one working loose and flying off or anything like that. They'll only get tighter, which is great. If you do want to take them off to store it or to carry it home, maybe you've got a backpack or something like that, you need to get the spanner out of this little bag, and you'll see the spanner attaches to the motor, not the prop, to the actual motor. And once that's on there and you've got the motor held, you can just undo it. Very useful tool. Okay, so all that remains now is to put the battery in. Before we turn the aircraft on, and that means putting the battery in, we must always, as I said before, turn on the transmitter. So just make sure that's in the on position. I put both the switches in the upward position as well. That means GPS flight and ATI mode, GPS ATI mode, depending how you've set it in the software, but that's the best setting for you starting out. So that's on. You can now put the battery in. Open the little battery hatch, put your finger in, pull out the battery connector. You'll see there's a cutout at the top here. You can just sort of hold that up there. Let's look back at the battery. You'll see it's finished charging. We've got a green LED here. So we can turn it off at the mains. Unplug it, but be careful to only unplug it using the connectors, not the wires. So grab the connector, pull that out, and with the yellow connector, don't pull the wires, grab the connector. You'll see there's two grip pads there. Pull that, and that'll come out nice and easy. So take the battery, with the logo at the top, keep this out of the way, the yellow connector, out the way in the little groove. Push that in, and then connect this up, make sure your transmitter's on, connect that up. You get 3 beeps to tell you it's ready to go. Now push the cable into this little groove, tuck the balance lead away, and close the little hatch. And there you go, the aircraft's ready to go. One last thing you should do is put these stickers on, these decals. You'll see on the 2 front arms there's 2 areas where they will fit, and that's really useful for letting you know which is the front of the aircraft when you're flying. So please do read the manual next. There's the firmware upgrades to do. That's really worth doing, and understanding what the LED on the back is telling you is really important as well. It's very important that you get a full satellite fix before you take off. So this is all the assembly done. You just need to now read the manual, plug it into the computer, and do the firmware upgrades. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, and have fun with your FC40.